One of the biggest questions I've been getting asked recently is, hey Lowbrow, if the fall is such an amazing time to go fishing, why can't I catch any fish? Either I'm not getting any bites, or the bites that I do get are so soft that I can't set the hook properly, and I end up either not getting the bass on a hookup or losing them when I'm trying to bring them in. It's very frustrating. Well, there are a couple of simple reasons for that are so easy to fix. We're going to look at what they are and how you can change these things to really improve not only the bites that you're getting, but when you do get bites, how to bring them all the way in. Stick around. We're going to talk all about it. I mean, they have a case of the nips right now. Nibble, nibble. There we go. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh, that's not a bad one. Come on now. Come on, stay down. Stay down. There we go. Let's get back over here. Nope, you're not coming off. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing. And I've said it 100 times that fall is my absolute favorite time of the year to go bass fishing. As those bass feed up for the winter, they get aggressive and they get hungry. They'll attack a whole bunch of different things. But on the flip side, some days you go out there and there's nothing. You can't get a single thing. Whereas the day before you caught a whole bunch and it was just one bite after the next. You go out the very next day, same area, same type of thing, and nothing happens. Well, a lot of times we'll get a cold night that drops that water temperature, or perhaps a cold rain. Bass like consistency, and when things disrupt that consistency, bass can shut down. And in the fall time, they shut down in a very particular way. They pull back from the bank a little bit and they start to get lethargic. That strike zone where we can get them to attack our lures shrinks considerably. But that doesn't mean it's not there. And there's a couple of easy things that you can do to completely change your luck whenever you're out on the water. But before we get started, if you like what I'm doing here, click that subscribe button down below. We'd love to have you as a member of this community. And while you're down there, give this video a like. It really does help the channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. And if you have a minute, head on over to Patreon and check out my members page. The link is in the description. It's where I post videos that I don't post here that are on a more personal nature, whether it's behind the scenes footage or polls or me refurbishing my old boat, those types of things. I think you're going to like it. Check it out. So what's going on in the fall? Well, in the springtime, you'll have a cold front come through and it kills the bass. They don't want to play for the next 3 or 4 days. In the fall, it's much the same. You'll have something that disrupts the consistency, whether it's a cold night, whether it's rain, whether it's a wind pattern that they don't like, whether it's something else, who knows, maybe somebody isn't holding their tongue right. Those bass pull back and they drop off into some little bit of deeper water, and they tend to sit there. They don't want to play. You're going to see a lot less activity when you head out to the water, where you're going to see them busting and splashing and chasing bait. A lot of times you won't see any of that activity, and you have to rely on other ways to find where those fish are. And the thing is, finding the fish isn't the hard part. I've been able to locate bass all the time. But as I said before, it can be frustrating whenever you crank back a crankbait and you see that you've got 3 or 4 followers, but none of them are taking it. Or whenever you're using something like a wacky rig or a NACO rig, and you can feel the bass tapping on it, and it almost feels like a bluegill or a perch or something small like that. Tap, 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 but they absolutely refuse to take it. You go to set the hook, and it's a swing and a miss every single time. And then you finally make that adjustment. You finally get a bass, feels like it's going to take that bait. You set the hook, you feel the weight of that bass. It's nice to feel that tug on the end of the line after so much effort. And you reel it, and you reel it, and you reel it, and then you get it near the boat, and that bass just hops right off. And you're thinking to yourself, what more can I do? Why can't I get a single fish? Well, there's a simple reason for that. You know, I go through all of that too, and this is trial and error. These are things that I had to find out through my own methods, because I got tired of having little tiny bites and losing fish. You know, even still, losing fish can be a problem, just like what happened to me the other day. eating that a lot. Quit nipping at the tail and take the whole thing. Silly things. I mean, they have a case of the nips right now. Nibble, nibble. There we go. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh, that's not a bad one. Come on now. Come on, stay down. Stay down. There we go. Let's get back over here. Nope, you're not coming off. He came off. Son of a gun. That's what they've been doing to me. I had him in the mouth. I had him good. And it still came off. And I saw the thing too. It was not a bad fish. Well, welcome to my world, kids. That was a 2-pound bass. That was easily a 2-pound bass, and I lost it right at the boat. I thought for sure that I had it. And like many of you, I was just disgusted. I would rather get skunked than lose a nice fish, especially right there at the boat. But at least I get to see it. So I made adjustments. And one of the first things that I realized that I had to do was stop my bait. A lot of times, you just need to stop it. Dead stick it. Leave it there for a while, regardless of what style, what technique that you are using. If you notice that in a lot of my fish catches, whenever I show them on these videos, I'm not working that bait or something unexpected has happened. It doesn't matter if I'm working a topwater popper, something like that Booyah prank. Instead of them attacking it out in the water, a lot of times they're just looking at it. And when I bring it back in, they're following it. And I'll pause it for a second and bam, a big one hits it and I catch a fish. That's something that the bass are telling us. We need to listen the first time when they tell us something, rather than, all right, well, I got that fish on this bait. I guess they're going to be after this one and cast it out there again and keep doing the same thing and not getting bites. We need to understand why they aren't so aggressive. And the truth of the matter is that strike zone shrinks down. What they're willing to go after changes drastically. So you have to go on the level of the bass. I've said this before. You have to present your baits, do your techniques on the level of the bass. And a lot of times that means slowing down to a dead stop. Now, that doesn't mean cast your bait out there and just, like you're fishing for catfish or something, just leave it on the bottom. Well, I'm sure you could. A lot of times you can definitely get bites doing that. But slow it down. Slow down that presentation and incorporate a lot of stops. That's what's been working for me. That's where I have been getting those big bites from. Super simple to do. We get impatient. And the more we get impatient, the more we end up rushing our baits, which is the exact opposite of what we really need to be doing. Now, another simple thing, go smaller. That's what I found out I had to do. Whether it's, even something like my good old Waco rig, right? I talk about this thing all the time. And it's very subtle and it works and it gets bites. But even right now, I can get a lot of those short strikes where they just bite the tail. And I go to set the hook and I'm fighting that bass to the boat and they just let go and that bait comes rocketing out of the water and comes straight at my head. And then I go to look at it and I notice the thing is still exposed because they never had anything but the tail. I've actually had baits where the tail has been bitten off. I've shown you guys this with a lot of the swim baits. They'll do it with that too. I will get where I'm getting short struck that way. Well, a good way to remedy that is go smaller. And that's where I'm using something like these 4-inch Yum Dingers rather than the 5-inch. And I'm using them on, like I said, the Waco rig or a wacky rig. So don't be afraid to go a little bit smaller. This is just the 4-inch, You can see that it is considerably smaller. And it's still that bite-sized snack. It is still that bite-sized morsel that those bass are going for. Right now, especially after a cold front or a cold rain or a frost or what have you, those bass, they're not going to eat a huge meal. You can put a great big thick steak in front of their face. They're probably going to turn it down, but you put a tiny little nugget of goodness in there, and I'm telling you what, they will attack it, especially if they don't have to exert much effort to do it. That's what it boils down to. They don't want to exert that effort. So I'm not just rigging that up on wacky rigs or Waco rigs, but another thing that works well for me is putting it on a little Ned rig just like this. Now this is just a part of a worm. Cut the back of it off to make it even shorter. We're at about 2.5, maybe 3 inches. And this teardrop shaped head, this is what works on the big lake. I searched for these heads for a long time because of all the vegetation. A normal mushroom shaped Ned rig head does not work so well for me, but something like this works amazingly well. It's almost like a pared down small version of a shaky head, and this will drive those bass wild. It's tiny. I can work it very subtly. I can get it into those places where I need to get it in and go to the bass on their level. Now, they don't make that jig head anymore at Bass Pro, which is a shame because I really like it. But you can find a comparable one made by Z-Man, the SMH Shaky Head by Brian Latimer. He's the one who came up with that. And it's got a lot of the same shape of the head. The shape is very teardrop. It's got the line tie in line. So there's very few places for that vegetation to snag on. And again, you can rig it as a small shaky head or kind of like a Ned rig, which is how I prefer to do it. And those bass go absolutely nuts for it. You get some big, strong bites, even when that water's cold, even when those bass are feeling lethargic. You put a nice little snack in front of their face, and they are not going to resist it. Like my buddy Hank says, you know, got to get that little Vianney sausage in front of their face, right? That little Vianney sausage, and they're going to tear it up. If you're in the deep south, you'll know what he means by that. The truth of the matter is, bass are not going to turn down a small snack when it's presented in front of their face. So whenever you alter what you're doing just a little bit, slow down, and I'm not going flashy at all, even when I'm using something like the good old lowbrow rig, right? Which is just a regular small jig that I've taken the skirt off of. I like a swim jig, I like a little 1/4 ounce jig, and it works great. I can fish it nice and slow and subtly. And when I learned to incorporate stops, and I went to with a smaller size swim bait, well, that's when I started getting much better hookup rates. It doesn't matter what I'm fishing. I mean, I've been losing them on a Waco rig. Get them hit it real hard, and you set the hook, and you're fighting the fish, and then right there at the boat, and there we go. Nope, you're not getting away this time. He's got it T-boned. You have got that bait T-boned. There we go. Oops, no. Come here, you bouncy. Now see it. That's how I thought the last one had it hooked. Was right the same way. Well, you got that lip piercing your mama told you couldn't have. Come on. Well, I guess you weren't coming out after all. Nice little 1.25 fish. The water's getting kind of cool. Yeah, right at 1.25. Beautiful fish on that lowbrow rig. You know, that's what I've been fishing. I've been using real subtle presentations. I'm finding the fish. I know where they are. It's getting them to commit to a bite, and that's when you have to go super, super slow. Appreciate it, dude. All right, let's see if we can't keep that train rolling. So that was a huge step forward. Now, you have to understand that when those bass are lethargic, you're going to have to be patient. You may not get but 4 or 5 good bites during the day. Finding the fish isn't the problem. They are there, and believe it or not, they do want to eat. But you have to present it to them on their terms. You've got to understand that strike zone has really, really shrunk down. And you have to give them a few days before that weather stabilizes and they get acclimated and adjusted to the surrounding area. That's when they're going to get back to what they normally were, and that bite will pick back up. It doesn't matter if it goes, really, really cold and frosty, as long as it stays in the same area. And the pattern levels off and the weather levels off, I'm telling you, those bass will come back around and those bites will get back to where they were. But in the meantime, slow things down. Don't get flashy with it. Get real subtle with it. And you're going to find out those simple tricks are going to help you land way more fish. So there you have it. When that fall bite gets really tough, a couple of minor adjustments are usually all it takes to turn things around. You've got to remember to fish on the bass's level, because if you don't, chances are they're going to reject our offerings. It's all about the techniques that we use when we're out on the water. Give these a try, and I'm telling you, you're going to see that it's going to make a huge difference. Thanks for watching Lowbrow Fishing. We'll catch you in the next one.